Hey guys, welcome to this video on Blackboard Navigation. The purpose for me shooting this video today is just to kind of give you guys a rundown of where everything's going to be and how to navigate Blackboard. There's a lot of content in our Blackboard site, so I wanted to just kind of spend some time talking about where to find things, and that's basically what this video is going to be about. Hopefully it won't take me too long to get through this. I shot this for my English 111 class and it was about 30 minutes. I'm going to try to shorten this up a little bit, but we'll see. So once you're in Blackboard, and of course the place you start is always, you'll usually access Blackboard by logging into my CFCC. And once you've logged in, you should see on the left side of your screen information about how to find Blackboard. And so it should be somewhere here. I keep all my favorites up here, but if you don't have favorites, then it will be down here in the launch pad. So you click on Blackboard, and then usually you don't have to log in again, but sometimes you might, like I do, have to log in again. So I'll go in, I'll log in, and then my classes will be here, and then I'll just select the class that I want to go into. So for us, that's English 112. I've already loaded it here and I'm in the student preview section, so I'm just going to work from this page. What you'll be taken to the moment that you log into Blackboard is the announcements section, where you can find all of the new announcements for the class. I will send out announcements, but probably quite a few on the first day of class, just because there's so much stuff that I want to tell you guys about. And then you'll get announcements usually on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays. Mondays is like sending out an introduction to the week video and some information that you might need to know. Wednesdays, I always remind you that the quiz is due that day. And then on Sundays, I remind you when there's an assignment due. So it won't be every Sunday. It will be like every other Sunday that you'll get an announcement on Sundays. So just be on the lookout for those announcements, and they'll show up here. All the new ones will come to the top, but any announcement that I show here will always stay in here. So eventually this page will be really, really long because there will be a lot of announcements. Once you kind of read through whatever it is that you need to know for the announcements, and on the first day of class, you want to go ahead and get started in the page called Getting Started. And that's just going to basically walk you through everything that you need to do within the first day or two of class. So this is where you can start in this session. You'll always want to start with enrollment verification, because that assignment makes sure that you stay enrolled in this course, and if you don't do it, you'll be automatically unenrolled from the course. That's not my policy, that's a Cape Fear policy. So that's just something that I have to create for you guys. You can find that here. The assignment, you'll read through the instructions, but the assignment is here in the student questions and help discussion forum. And then I've also linked you to the syllabus and calendar on this page. I talk a little bit more about the elements of the course. If you don't want to watch this video, the elements of the course is basically a very brief, less detailed rundown of where you can find all of the items within the Blackboard site. There's information here about the Writing Lab Resource Center and their hours, and then information about me. And then when you're finished, you can head over to your weekly assignment. So I'm going to scroll all the way back to the top and just kind of talk more about this navigation pane. You can find what we just went over in Getting Started, and then we have weekly assignments. And so weekly assignments is obviously where I want you to go every week. So like when you log into Blackboard on Mondays and you're trying to figure out what to do each day and what to do each week, this is really probably where you're going to spend most of your time, is in the weekly assignments. When our class starts Monday, February 5th, all the way through Sunday, February 11th, that's week 1. I'm just going from Monday to Sunday. That's how I'm organizing this class. And so you'll have 12 total weeks, and each one is labeled with a number. When you are working in the weekly assignments, you'll open that folder, and right here at the top, like for week 1 and for week 2, you'll see enrollment verification, because those are things that you need to make sure you have finished by Monday, February 12th, which is the first day in week 2. But for example, if I go back one, and I can use this navigation pane up here too. If I go back to week 3, you're not going to see the enrollment verification in week 3 because it was already due in week 2. So there's no point for me to put it there. What you will also see, I'm going to go back to week 1, which you don't see right now because I have not created them yet. But you'll also see the weekly overview videos posted here at the top of each week. I'll email them to you in the Blackboard announcements, but I'm also going to post them to the week 1 content folders so that you have access there. Now, if you are opening the week 1 video, but you've already done enrollment verification, that's great. You just want to scroll down to what you'll see in all of the other weeks, which is a learning module, any major assignment that's going to be due, and then a link to like the next week. So if you wanted to get started on week 2 early, you could. I put the learning module first because, of course, I want you to work through all of the assignments within the learning modules. That's sort of like the most important thing. However, I do understand that sometimes you have to skip ahead because maybe it's Wednesday and the quiz is due and you haven't done everything in the learning module, but you need to get that quiz turned in. So I also link you to the quizzes. However, you'll notice if you read the learning module steps that I do put the quiz in the learning module. So all this is a link to the quiz, and that's just so that you can really quickly find it. On weeks where you have a major assignment, I also link you to the major assignment here. And again, it's just for ease of access. However, everything that you ever need is always going to be in the learning module. So I'm going to show you what a sample learning module looks like. It's organized kind of like a book where it has a table of contents. And if you wanted, you could always hide this course menu. I don't like to hide my course menu because I like to see my course menu, but if you needed a fuller screen, you could hide the course menu. I'm going to open it back up. Also, if you don't like that the table of contents gets cut off, you can use this arrow here to move the table of contents to the bottom, and then you can see everything that you need to see down here. I prefer my table of contents over here because I like to see the whole list of everything. I don't like to have to scroll through the table of contents, but anyway, that's just this here. Now, okay, I should be in student preview mode. I don't know how I got out of that. So I have to go back to weekly assignments, to week 1, and to the learning module, because what you guys will see is just one page at a time. So here you can see there's 23 pages in the learning module. You can always skip ahead. I guess I do have to scroll when I'm in student preview mode, but that's okay. So you can always skip ahead because you can click on any of these things. However, my goal, of course, as your teacher is to encourage you to not skip ahead. And the reason I put things in the order in which I put them in is because if we were meeting face-to-face, that's the order that I would teach things to you because I think that it makes the most sense that way. So at the start of each week, you'll always see an overview. You can navigate through the learning module in a number of ways. You can just click on the next section. This will tell you that I want you to read chapter 1 from pages 1 through 19 in your Perspectives on Contemporary Issues textbook. And then you're ready to go on. Okay, you want to open up the folder. Let's go into the next unit. It gives you some more information. The other way that you can navigate through the learning module is by using the forward and back arrows. And so this arrow takes you to a link, and in Blackboard this is what you see, but anytime I link you to something else, it will also automatically pop up on your screen. And the reason I do this is so you could print this out if you wanted, but you can also exit out and just view it in Blackboard if you don't want to view any external pages, or if you prefer to just look at everything in Blackboard. Essentially, this is just going to take you through everything that I put in the learning modules. Some of the content is things that I absolutely 100% want you to read. Like, I want you to read this assignment sheet for the annotated bibliography. You want to read the assignment sheet for the annotated bibliography because it's going to tell you about the assignment and what I want you to do. But there are sometimes things that I put in Blackboard that I think more are for reference and that would be more helpful, of course, but I don't necessarily need you to read them. So an example of that is like these sample assignments. I have sample annotated bibliographies here. I link you to one that I've created that has comments on it. And then I also, I'm going to X that out. I also show you what an A+ annotated bibliography looks like. And I put like, you know, the one that I graded so that you can see how I've added comments to this student's assignment. And I link you to, or I post in here in PDF, a B annotated bibliography. So like, what does a B grade look like? And then, of course, a C grade. Now, do I expect you to sit here and read through every single paper that I've put up as samples? No, not necessarily. This is just for your benefit. Like, if you're having a hard time trying to understand what an annotated bibliography is, then you can use these samples for reference. Of course, I think it's pretty, it's easy to understand like which assignments you need to read and which ones you can use as reference. And you guys have probably been in school long enough to know the difference. Of course, if you have questions, if you're working through the learning module that week and you're like, you put a lot of content in here, I'm not sure I can get through it. Can you tell me 100% what I need to look at? Of course, I'll tell you. And my answer might be all of it. I mean, some weeks, everything in there, 100% you need to know. And other weeks, there are things that are more for reference. In my weekly overview videos, I'll try to also kind of talk a little bit about what you can quickly skim through and what you need to spend more time reading. But often, like when you notice, I'll put folders here. So you see these little yellow folders. I often, on the main folder page, will kind of talk about what's in the folder, and that will maybe also help you learn. Like here in this week, for example, we have the basics of MLA Format, and I talk a little bit about like how to format things. So
hey guys,
like,
sounds like
videos and things like that I want you to watch and stuff. But next week there's MLA Format info that's more referential. So I'll talk a little bit about like what you have to look at and what you can kind of skim through in my weekly overview videos, because I think I should probably move on. I'm just rambling now at this point. So just know that there's a lot of stuff in the learning modules. There's a lot of stuff to cover, and some of it you have to look at and some of it you can kind of quickly go through. Now, at some point in the learning module, you'll come across the quiz, and you can click to launch the quiz when you're ready to take it, and then you click begin. Once you've taken your quiz, the first quiz that you have is actually a document submission, so you have to attach a file. I'm going to browse my computer and just attach a random file to this assignment. Let's just attach a cover letter here. I'll save my answer, and then I'm going to scroll down. It wants to know more about my research project. Well, I'm not really sure, so I'm going to save my answer, and then I think this, can I move myself? Yes. Ha. So down here at the end of the quiz, save and submit. When you're taking your quiz, you always want to try to save your answers. Oops, let me click cancel because I want to show you something. And you want to just make sure that you've answered both of the questions. They'll turn gray once the question has been answered. So you click Save and Submit. I'm going to click OK. And then right here, you'll notice it says click OK to view results. Well, here's the thing. This quiz that I showed you doesn't have any instant grading because there's no multiple choice questions or something like that that Blackboard could grade for me. I actually have to do this grading myself. Blah, that's okay. But I'm going to click OK, and anytime you're done taking a quiz, you can click OK. And if there's instant grading, like if it's multiple choice or fill in the blank or something like that, then your grade will show up pretty instantaneously, and then you can go here and see like what you submitted and what grade you got on it. Now I have to physically grade this, so it's going to show up as needs grading, which means I have to go in and grade it. But you can click OK, and that's how you kind of get through the quiz, is once you've gone through some of those basics of MLA Format and all the things that I wanted you to learn about in the modules. Then you'll get to the quiz. And sometimes there's things after the quiz that I want you to still do. But then other times there are things, like sometimes the quiz is just the last thing in that learning module. So just know if you get to the quiz, check for more things, but usually the quiz is the last thing that you have to do. Now, as far as that goes, that's kind of everything that's in this weekly assignment section. You'll know there's no assignments on the week of spring break. Currently, I have hidden weeks 7 through 12, just because I don't want to overwhelm you. That's a totally separate unit, and we'll get to that unit later. If you get to week 6 early and you want to go ahead and start on week 7 through 12, that's perfectly fine. Send me an email and I will open that up for you and give you access to that. That was weekly assignments. There's also the syllabus linked here and the course calendar linked under course information. And then there are some other resource pages for you. If you ever need to get in touch with me and you're not really sure how to use like this email, you can always email me through Blackboard. You go to email, you select all instructor users, and then you can see that it's going to send me an email. You type in the subject of your email and then whatever message you want to send to me. You can attach a file if there's something, if you're emailing me about like one of your papers and you want me to take a look at it, then you can attach your file in here as well and click submit, and then your email will pop up in my inbox. So it's pretty quick, and usually Blackboard doesn't have any glitches or anything like that. So you can email me through here. Obviously, you can email other people, like all users, so you can email your classmates if you want to. If you want to email the English department chair through this, you could as well. You could even select people to email. If you wanted to email just specific members of the course, that's fine. There's a grade section on here, and so what you'll see with the grade section is your totals. Everything in blue is kind of like what's always going to be at the top, what your grade point average is, the total points that you've earned, and then like how that associates to your letter grade. So do you have an A, do you have a B, do you have a C, whatever. And then you'll see down here are all of the assignments that you'll be submitting throughout the course. If you see a yellow, that means it needs to be graded. You've submitted something, but I haven't graded it yet. If you don't see anything at all, like this is just a dash with the out of 5 points, that means that you haven't submitted anything for me. And then, of course, if you saw like 5 out of 5, that means you've submitted it and I've graded it, and that's how many points that you've earned. And then also, there is an option for blue. So if you see a blue circle here, that means you started the assignment, but you never actually submitted it. Now, if you have a blue circle, you need to make sure you go in and finish your assignment, because if you have a blue circle and you haven't submitted it, that means that I can't see it. So I never got a submission for anything from you. So make sure you see yellows or you see numbers. You don't really want to see blue unless you're still working on that assignment. Now that's okay. Also, there's Student Resources and Help Center, and this is really just kind of like places for you to go to get really quick information about something you might need help with. There's a quick troubleshooting guide with common questions that I receive throughout the courses that I've taught, information to Cape Fear Student Services, help and troubleshooting, and this is going to take you to like the CFCC online help, so like how to get help from the student help desk, or if you needed to call someone about Blackboard, you could do that. But then I also have a folder of tutorials and how-tos, and these are all like step-by-step, and there's pictures in them, and it's just step-by-step how to do something. So how to upload a file in Blackboard, how to view your quiz feedback, how to create a discussion board post, things like that you might come across. So if there's ever something that you're being asked to do in Blackboard and you don't know how to do it, check this tutorial folder before you send me an email, because you might find the answer in here, and that will just be faster for you and less stressful to have to wait for me to email you back. Plus, it's less work for me, which is always nice. The only other thing I've linked you to here is the Student Questions and Help discussion forum. Now, right now, because our class hasn't officially started, the only thing that's in here is just my welcome message. Eventually, you will have to do your enrollment verification assignment in here. And so that assignment you'll see will populate a whole bunch of questions that you'll ask about the class, and I will answer them. And then later on, after enrollment verification is over, you can always come back to this discussion forum and post questions that you have. Sometimes I might even say, hey, I opened up an extra credit assignment in the questions and help discussion forum for you guys to talk about your current project that you're working on with your classmates. So please go there and talk about it, and I'll give you extra credit or something like that. So that's always something I'll do throughout the semester, of course. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about with the discussion forum that I do, you may or may not want to do it. It really kind of depends on how much you like to get emails. You can click subscribe, and what that means is that anytime someone posts to the discussion forum, you will get a memo in your inbox saying, so-and-so posted in the discussion forum, view their post here, and you click on it and it takes you there. I think that really just depends on how much you want to know. You know, if you want to know what other people are asking, if you want to know when I post answers to other people's questions in the Student Questions and Help discussion forum, then you will know if you check your email. So I think it's really helpful because it allows me to kind of provide really quick feedback, because I'll always know when someone's emailing me or asking questions in the Blackboard discussion forum, so it's helpful for me. You may or may not want all of those messages in your inbox. Sometimes it can get pretty busy in the forum, so then your email gets busy, but it's exciting, right? All right, so I think that really covers everything with Blackboard. Like I said, the majority of your time this semester is going to be spent in the weekly assignment section. Everything that you need to know is in the learning module in the weekly assignment. So if you have a question like, where do I find the assignment sheet for the annotated bibliography in the weekly assignments? Where do I find the quiz for this week in the weekly assignments? Where do I find the lessons that I'm supposed to learn in week 7 in the weekly assignments? Pretty much everything is in the weekly assignments unless it's not related to weekly instruction. All right, y'all. I think that covers everything that you need to know. If I'm missing anything, well, then of course you should ask a question for your enrollment verification. So go ahead, and if you're watching this video like early on in week 1, go to the weekly assignments, start working on that week 1 stuff. Make sure you got your quiz done. That's due. Quiz 1 is due on Wednesday, February 7th. And I am out. Bye, guys.